Good evening, everybody. Happy Monday. Hope everybody is having a great, blessed Monday evening. This is actually day 32. I know it was only 30, but just decided to kind of see what more I can do. So I'm trying to add a little bit of something for, I don't know, the next few days, however long. As you can see, kind of got a weighted vest on. I have been advised that for weight loss purposes and even better performance, at least for people over the age of 50, some type of resistance is good for you in terms of acceleration. So this is a 15-pound weighted vest, and we're going to be doing today's session with this on. Probably going to be about 10 minutes or so, and just jump around a little bit, get a little bit of a work in, and hopefully after a while we'll really get to see some results. Hope everybody had a great weekend wherever you may be. Here in San Antonio, it's actually a little cool today. I think we got down in the high 40s. So that's a little bit of the cooler winter weather for us, being that we've been in the high 70s and even 80 a couple of days. So we are seeing a little bit of a weather change. Hopefully, in the near future, I'll be working on some more professional backgrounds and graphics and more categorized things to talk about. I don't have a teleprompter or anything, and so I'm just kind of all over the place, just kind of talking, really just rambling about whatever different things that may be going on. Lately, it's been about sports. Right now, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers playing the Houston Texans for the last spot to move on. And we saw a lot of good, close games this past weekend. Almost every game, pretty much every game, came down to the last 2 or 3 drives. Road teams were winning most of those games. I think the Chicago and New England were the only 2 home teams to win, but every game could have gone either way. So everything's looking pretty even, pretty good so far. Next week should be a really good weekend. I know the Rams play in Chicago, which I dread when they have to go play in really cold weather. That's just, they played well in Philadelphia last year in the cold, so hopefully that'll carry over to the Chicago game this weekend. I hope everybody, if your team is still in it, wish them good luck. Remember, please set something for yourself to do. Something that makes you active. What you want to do, or at least in my estimation, is find out what you're best at. And how did you get to be the best at whatever it is you're the best at. And whatever principles, actions, daily things that you do or did to become that, apply those same principles to your weaker areas and improve them. Look to get better in whether it's finance, whether it's relationship, whether it's making friends or just a hobby or whatever it is, whatever it is you do, work on your weak areas. Like fitness. If fitness, I hear a lot of people say, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this, and it doesn't seem to happen. Whether, we get sick, you just get unmotivated and whatever, or somebody else tries to say something, oh, you're not going to do that, whatever. Well, prove that person wrong. Go out there and say, I'm going to set my goal. I'm going to go out there and achieve my goal. Again, your goals should be very realistic. Set them somewhere where you know I can achieve this, even if it's a very small goal. Any goal that's more than what you have or what you're doing is achievable. And once you achieve that goal, either set it higher and take baby steps. Get a little better, move on. The first goal should be a very realistic goal that you set. Don't set it way, way high. And, because the odds of achieving that, while they may be good, it tends to take a lot longer, and to some extent, it may not be achievable. So just take it one step at a time. In our culture, we tend to want things quick, fast, and in a hurry. And unfortunately, that kind of leads us to burnout and whatever after, 2-3 weeks of success. But then we hit that down spot, and that kind of puts a damper on what we were feeling. And that's okay, that's normal. But don't quit, keep going. And you might even have to set your goal back a little further than what you set it at. Maybe you set it somewhere in the middle, and let's set it back a little bit, but still achieve the goal. Overall, quitting, don't quit. No, even if you have a setback, you get hurt, you get injured, you get sick. Everybody gets sick days. Those of us that have young children, we have to tend to them, and that takes time, which that's what we're here for. We want to make sure that we don't neglect what we have to do, but also your goals. How important is that goal? That's the question. Is it very important? Is it moderately important? Is it not important at all? Only you can, make that determination. So if it's very important, you're going to have to make the time for it. Doing this, I've stated before, you can do this 3 times a day for 10 minutes. That's 30 minutes. And that's not a whole lot of time out of your day gone. A lot of students or people who work jobs, maybe multiple jobs, we get tired, and that's fully understandable. So set your goals around what the obstacles are, whether it's picking the kids up, whether it's cooking dinner, whether it's just relaxation time or bonding time or whatever. Set those goals, but make sure you also have a game plan. This is a goal. This is how I'm going to achieve this goal. So follow your playbook. You set your playbook. You follow your playbook. You know you better than anybody else knows you. So that's going to be how you work. There's going to be haters. Haters are going to laugh. They're going to joke. They're going to say and do whatever. That's okay. You could look to prove haters wrong, or you could just look to prove yourself right. And, the hater is going to be that way for whatever reason it is. Not your concern, not my concern. I'm nearing 60 years of age. Seems like wow. If anybody looking remembers, back in the 1980s in Compton, I always thought I was an athlete. I could go out and play, but I never had that type of talent. I could make a team and do whatever. I always thought I was really good, but I didn't have that kind of talent. But anyway, I did go to school with a lot of people who were extremely talented football, basketball players, and I loved all the sports, and still do. I am a sports geek, sports nerd, whatever you want to call it. Okay, little distraction. But you know, we age how we age. I know a lot of people, I won't say a lot, but I have seen people who I went to high school with who aren't with us today for various reasons, whatever they are. And, you know, it just inspires me to take care of myself a little better if I can. Pay attention to aches and pains and whatever it is, don't just ignore it. You know, men, we tend to not go to doctors or not want to go to doctors. We're young men, we think we're indestructible, we can do whatever, and that's just not the case. But, you know, I did 24 years in the Air Force. I rarely went to the doctor. And the only reason you saw me in the hospital most times is because I worked there. But I rarely, very rarely, went to the doctor. Should I have gone? Absolutely. You know, you get hurt and you try to brush it off and be tough and whatever. But the wise thing to do is get that evaluated, check it out. Because in the long run, when you get older, those aches and pains come. And they can overwhelm you. So this is what I mean by take care of yourself. Part of that is do an annual physical if you can. Hopefully you have some type of health insurance and you can go see a doctor. If you don't, you know, I pray that you get a job that has something for you or some kind of way for you to have what you need so you can get medicine and seen and whatever else it is that you need to have. It's very important. Our country does not put an emphasis on preventive medicine enough. We tend to be a reactive country where we get patients after the fact. And sometimes that can be late. So early detection, always. That's why I say if you get that ache, that pain, and it's unusual, you know, if it's a day or two and it goes away, you may be okay. But if it lingers and it will not go away and it is getting worse, get yourself to a doctor. Get it looked at. If you end up with a doctor who is kind of nonchalant and like whatever, take these pills and go on. In the military, there's a lot of that. Just take these pills and move on. But especially if you have health insurance that you're paying for, absolutely. Hey, I'm feeling this pain. You know, whether it's an MRI or whatever type X-ray, I need this looked at closer. I don't want to brush it off, and I certainly don't want you to blow it off. If you have to get a second opinion, go get that second opinion. Nothing is wrong with a second opinion. And it does not make any doctor look bad because you choose to get a second opinion. Now, hopefully those two opinions are very similar and the same. And then you can have confidence on, okay, this is what's going on. Because a lot of times you will see people who get an opinion and then go see someone else and you get the polar opposite opinion. And that kind of leaves you in a wow, well, okay, so which is it? Our mind says the lesser of the two, I want to believe. But I want to know what's really going on, as most people should. So don't be afraid to get a second and in some cases maybe a third opinion. You know, if your insurance allows it without you having to, really come out of pocket, because medical care in this country is extremely expensive. It should not be that way, but that is unfortunately the way it is. If you have a problem with that, Get your behind up, get out there and vote. Know who is for healthcare and who is not for healthcare. That is very important. Do not sit back and let other people decide without you having a say-so. And that vote is your say-so. So go out there and utilize it. Because this may be controversial, but it's 100% true. You don't use that vote, there are people out there who are trying to take it away. Don't trust me or take my word for it. Just do the research. Doesn't matter who you vote for or who you support, but you need to vote. Okay, so I've lost track of time a little bit. I've been rambling. My apologies. Today is January the 12th. And again, we're ramping up the rebounding just a little bit again by adding a little extra weight to see my joints do feel well. Another thing that you want to consider, no matter what exercise you're doing, I do this barefoot, and I hate being barefoot. It's rare that I'm barefoot, but you can do this with shoes on, but make sure you have a jumper that is rated for whatever weight. This one is a Becan jumper, and it's rated for, I believe, 380 pounds. So I'm nowhere near that even with this vest on. Also your shoes. As a young person, you know, we all like shoes, or a lot of us do. I tend to be very thrifty. So shoes didn't matter a whole lot. You know, didn't like get made fun of for particular shoes, but shoes didn't really matter a lot. You know, I am not one to spend $150 on some sneakers. I just can't see it. However, I used to run quite a bit, and I had decent running shoes. But very good running shoes are almost a must. Now, whatever you can afford and get is great. I've recently realized a lot of people will use their shoes and they'll sell them slightly used. You know, we're talking about $100 shoes, and maybe you can get them on the secondhand market. You know, some people are anti-secondhand and won't do it, and that's fine. And then there's others that's like, hey, these are shoes that are going on my feet. If you're like me, you got some stank feet, so I don't mind wearing secondhand shoes that are in good shape, especially if I'm paying a fraction of the cost of what they cost new. That's just me. You know, your judgment is whatever it is. So, but shoes are very important. The comfort, whether you have a flat foot, or whether you have a wide foot, or whether you require, you know, you do a gait analysis so you can see the arc of your foot. And that will tell you which type of shoe works best for you. So, as we approach the end this evening, I want to encourage everybody, get moving and keep moving. We are only in January, but before we know it, we're going to be looking at Christmas, 4th of July, 1st, I suppose, and Christmas, it's going to come before we know it. It sneaks up fast. So, everybody have a very blessed Monday evening, and we will see you all tomorrow. Keep on moving.